All righty. Well, we're right at the top of the hour. I know we have folks on. I know we have folks that are coming on. So I'm just going to start sharing. And when you come on, if you want to say hello, that's fine too. But we're right at the top of the hour, and we like to get started on time. That's something that's really important because time is something that you just cannot get back. So you want to make sure that you're always starting on time and being there. I forget which coach said this. I've heard it several times from different people. If you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. So that's a little thing. And I remember back in the day when we would give different presentations, it was something that we'd say, oh, you have to, especially if we were doing a hotel presentation, you needed to be there at least an hour before, so you could open the doors a half hour before. And really 2 hours would be great because you remember all sorts of things would happen with the equipment, the mic, different things like that, setting up the tables. And that was fun. So, and I know a lot of the people in our team and throughout the company, they're still having presentations like that. I know Arlen just had something where boot camp, and they had the tables set up in a classroom style. And that was fun because we would always bring good information. We did it in Denver a couple times, down in the Springs, and it was so fun. There's a World Arena in Colorado Springs that seats 8,000 people. And I remember when we first started, that was one of the things I saw happening, especially after our major convention that we had in Illinois with the Statue of Liberty. Some of you might remember that, but it was spectacular. And it's on YouTube if you want to watch it again. But we had a Ray Charles impersonator, and the young lady who sang actually worked for the company at the time. I don't know where she is or if she's still with us now, but it was spectacular. And then they had all the choir members. And I remember a friend of mine, Angie, was in the choir, and we ended up waiting for her so late the night before to grab something to eat because they were practicing and they wanted to make sure they got it right. But definitely, even if you haven't seen it in a while, it's just something to go back and reminisce and watch because it was a very, very spectacular event. And it's always good to kind of go back and remember and know the feeling that you had then, because it's all about feelings. I know I listen to a lot of different motivational, and like we know, when you start watching something on any of the social media platforms, it just keeps popping up. So if you start searching for positive affirmations, any type of motivating speaker, it's going to come. You're going to see them. You're going to find them. And then if you spend time listening to it and watching it, before you know it, that's all your feed is sending you is positive affirmations. So it's easy to find, and you really want to start. And if you started last year, because it's something that I always talk about, even throughout the year, you need to continue and say that come December 31st, 2025, all of this will have been completed. It had been a great year, and all the things that you wanted come to pass. See, it's all about you saying it. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, day before, I was listening to different motivational speakers, and Miles Monroe popped up, and he was talking about how you say things. And we talked about this before, pretty much saying things in the affirmative, saying things like it has already happened. And it is definitely a learned behavior, or even training yourself to think positive. It is a learned behavior. You have to constantly be teaching yourself. You have to constantly be watching your words, because if you think about it, when you were little, the first word you probably heard was either your name or no, because you was getting ready to do something and somebody said no to you. And so you heard no so often. No, you can't do that. No, watch that. No, you're going to fall. Get back, get back. And it's not because people were trying to stop you from achieving your goals, but it was because they didn't want you to get hurt. So that word no, of course, is embedded. So it takes a lot. It takes time. It takes determination. It takes energy. It takes discipline to keep changing that thinking that you have that's negative. And the only way you can do it is from being persistent and determined and constant. It's something that you have to never stop doing. And with life, you of course have to watch what you feed yourself, because that can be kind of negative too. So you have to watch what you feed yourself. You have to watch, and when I say feed yourself, I'm talking about your brain, what you're listening to. You know, if something upsets you, if you're watching something, don't watch it. Find something else that makes you feel good. So it's really up to you to program your mind on how you want it to think. And man, that is something that everybody constantly is doing. Even if you listen to people, I was listening to Lisa Nichols, and Lisa Nichols was in The Secret way on early in her career. And she tells her story about her son's father, and now her son's a grown man. He's married. She's found another love of her life, and she's married again. So her life goes on. But even I was listening to her the other day, and she was on vacation for the holidays, and she started getting depressed. And she was really good at sharing it with everybody. I really liked how she just shared the fact that her husband is from, I don't know, an island. I can't remember which one. I could say, or I have no idea where he's from. But anyway, he is foreign, and he was getting ready to leave because he had to go back. And then she had to come back to the U.S. to take care of her father. I think it was her father or her mother. I'm not sure. But anyway, she was getting depressed because she didn't want to separate from her husband. And this is something that she deals with. And so for her to start sharing that, and I was like, wow, okay. So even for her and what we see being a very positive spokesperson, and she has all these different conventions and motivating speakers and books and all these things. But you know what? That all goes to show that money is not going to buy you happiness. And I know a lot of people say, only folks who have a lot of money say that, you know, but it's true. Money can buy you things, but money cannot really control your happiness. You have to control. Your happiness is a mental state that you control. And you look at some of these countries where people are living with the bare necessities compared to us, which we are very, very spoiled here in the United States, where people are living with the bare necessities and they are just happy and they're living a long life and they're enjoying being around family because they've been taught that it's not things that's going to get you happy. I mean, you can go and buy the Porsche, the Mercedes, the Lamborghini, the Aston Martin, all these overpriced, which I feel is overpriced cars, and all the different Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all the different brands, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not happy, you just have stuff around you. You just got a lot of stuff around you. So you really have to find what makes you happy. And that's why I believe that you have to just have an attitude of gratitude. I think the attitude of gratitude is a way to start on being happy. Start thinking about the stuff that you have around you. Start thinking and being happy for that. And even though you might not be driving your dream car, be happy that you have a vehicle. You might not be living in your dream home. Just be happy that you have a roof over your head. And I think if we stop dwelling on the lack of, and that's another motivational thing, and you start appreciating what you have, there'll come a peace with that. There'll come a peace with that. And then you look at people, I have family members that they live down here, and they travel maybe over to this city or that state's close enough. Atlanta is fun, for a weekend. But when you try to say, well, when have you ever been out of the country, or do you even dream of going out of the country? Where would you want to go? And they'll look at you like, what? No, we're fine. We're happy. Why? And so everybody is different. And so getting that state of happiness is really up to you. So you have to find out what makes you happy, what makes you smile, and do more of it. And I think that is something that once you start focusing on that, there'll come a peace and you'll be able to appreciate. And when you start appreciating what you have, I really feel that you're going to start getting more things, if things is what makes you happy, or quality time, or whatever your love language is. And that's another thing too. Go find that out if you don't know. It's all on social media. There's a test that you could take to find out what your love language is. It's always great to know things like that, because if your love language is quality time, okay, and your spouse gives you a gift, but you really just want to sit down and watch a movie with them, the gift, and if their love language is gifting, well, then they're going to want to understand. They don't understand why you're not so excited about the gift, because your love language is not gifting. Your love language is quality time. And if you are love language is word of affirmation, and they never give you a compliment, never say anything nice, never say how they appreciate the small things that you do, then you're always going to be like, why don't they say anything nice? All the diamonds are good and all the Gucci bags are nice, but they never compliment me. They never say. So it's always good to take that test and find out what your love language is. And once you find out what your love language is, you'll know why when somebody vacuums your floor, you're like, oh, wow, you're so happy about the fact that somebody vacuumed for you versus somebody bringing you a material gift and not doing or spending quality time. So it's fun. It's fun to see what your love language is. A lot of times it might commingle with another type of love language, but it's always fun to find out what it is. And you might just go on YouTube. See, things like that I find fun. I find when you do things that you have knowledge of the way you think and why you think, I think that's always a good thing. Because when you don't understand something, you're going to be confused by it. So you want to make sure you understand. And so finding out your love language is fun. It's really fun. And so go do that. It's a fun little exercise. You can find it on YouTube somewhere, or, excuse me, you can Google how to find your love language. And then if you have a partner or a sister, a brother, or kids, let them do it too. And you'll understand why at Christmas time they're so ecstatic, because they're getting gifts as opposed to sitting down and eating popcorn and watching a movie. It's like, this is boring. But you'll understand your love language must be gifting, because that's when you get excited. My daughter-in-law's mother, her love language is gifting. And so she loves to give gifts. And it's so funny because every Christmas, she always sends us something, And this past Christmas, she sent us, oh my goodness, it had to have been at least $200 worth of fudge brownies, snickerdoodle cookies. Oh, and it was beautifully wrapped, and it came, and it was like perishable, open immediately, and it was beautifully wrapped. But there's no way Rick and I were going to eat all that chocolate. We were not eating all that chocolate. So we let my daughter take it back with her when she went back to work, and she put it out, and she said, Mom, within 20 minutes, it was all gone. And so it was nice to see that, somebody else enjoyed the brownie and the snickerdoodles and the double chocolate cake. And it was a beautiful presentation, but it was a lot. But every year, she finds a way. She sends us something. And I remember one year she sent us these exotic candies. It was interesting, all the different candies. But that's her gift. So constantly, my son and his wife are constantly getting gifts delivered to their house from Amazon because that's how she shows her love. So everybody is different. And once you find out what yours is and you find that you're doing it, then it's okay. It's okay. So let's talk about that next week. I think it'll be fun if we can talk about what everybody's love language is. Unless anybody on the call already knows what their love language is and you want to share, that'll be fun too. But it's always interesting to learn something new. And when you learn something new, especially if you learn something new about yourself. I was watching this other program. No, let me see. I was watching this other program, and they had each other write a letter to your younger self. And you could pick whatever age you want, and people were picking 9 and 10 and 16. And that was because something significant, happened around that time in their life. So that's a cool thing to do too. Go back and what would you write to your younger self? And that'll be interesting, Of course, we're not going to be able to go back in time and put it in your drawer, put it in your book bag, so you wake up the next morning and go, oh my, I'm 36 and I'm writing to myself. What did I say? So there's no time machines, but it's always fun to do. It's some type of therapy that you can do to kind of find out what would you say to yourself, and would that help you to change how you are now for the better, of course. But I like all those things that allow you to learn about yourself, learn why this bothers you more than that, why this makes you happy more than that. And I think that's always a good thing, because you want to attract people into our business that's ready to work, and you're going to attract people that are like you. So find out what you like about Surge, nurture that, learn more about it. What about you, why you came in the business, what your goals, your dreams were, and remember that. And even if you have to put it down on a vision board. I remember we used to do vision board all the time. I still have mine in my office. I'm constantly putting new things on it all the time. And because it changes. I mean, okay, I have that, so now I got to put this up. And now I have that, so now I got to put this up. So I think once you realize that it's a great way to change how you're thinking about things, because I think that's very important. That's why I like all of the people, why you think the way you think. And Rick and I, we have great conversations on why you feel this way, what makes you think this, or da-da-da-da-da. And that's a great way to communicate, because you really can't read anybody's mind. So if you have children in the house or your spouse, it's always great to start talking and having great conversations. I do that. I love to do that when I get my kids together, and my son will be like, oh, mom's on a roll. She's asking questions. And it's because I want us to talk. And if we don't talk about things, you'll never know. And you have to kind of create conversation time, because life goes on, and you'll sit back and say, wow, we never talked about that, or that just kind of happened, and I didn't know that you didn't like when I did this, or I didn't know when you did this, you didn't know that I didn't like. So you have to talk, you have to share. And even for your team members, if you haven't talked to any of them in a long time, reach out with a text or with a message, something, and say, hey, I was thinking about you. Things are going great. I'm still here if you need anything. That's so simple. If you don't want to pick up the phone, or even if you do pick up the phone and you get the answering machine, well, hey, I was thinking about you. I just wanted to reach out and touch and show and let you know that if there's anything you need, we're still here. We're still rolling. This company is really beginning to boom. We have what do they have? The presence, the compensation plan they did yesterday, and the fact that we do a presentation tonight, and just reach out to people because things are changing. Like they say, they are changing. And so you never know where that person is in their life right now. So whereas, a couple years ago, there's no way they would do surge because they were perfectly happy with their situation, but life changes, and life changes constantly and often. So even though somebody might have said no, reach out. Even Rick was sharing with us that somebody got on the call yesterday, and she said, man, I was just thinking about Serge the other day. And so he reached out and invited her to the presentation last night. So you never know. So reach out to people. Even if they're still active but they're not doing anything, just reach out and say, hey, I was thinking about you. Is there anything I can do? You would be so surprised how many people just need that one hello, how are you doing? I even get these little, someone sent you a wave on Instagram and my different social media, or here's somebody that you might know. And just way back, hey, how's it going? Depending on where you are right now, they're probably not jumping on a plane to go anywhere. I don't know if you saw that even down here in Charleston. There's snow, and it's so funny because we lived in Colorado for many, many years. And the snow that's on the ground now would be considered a dusting in Colorado because, I mean, when it snows there, it snows there. And we'll have mountains and mountains of snow, but there's no snow plows. The street is pretty much melting by cars going over it little by little. Kids are off this whole week. Everybody's off from school. Everybody's off from work. The gym's closed. And we're looking outside like, okay, yes, the grass is white. I understand that. Yes, there is snow on the street. But this is nothing compared to what we're used to in Colorado. But that just goes to show you, everybody is different. And so maintenance department, they don't have those big snow plows, and they don't have the machinery to put their those little plows on their Bobcat and all these different things that they just do so easily in Colorado because they're used to snow. It's just part of what happens. But here, it's like lockdown city. Even if in Houston, we heard it snowed there. So all of these things have slowed people down. But one thing that has not slowed them down, and that's the telephone and the internet and your cell phone. You can still reach out and touch, which is really great. Folks are sitting around, can't get to work, whatever the case may be. They're driving maybe 5 miles an hour, maybe, because they don't want to slide on the snow. And so give them a call. Everybody's kind of sitting around figuring out what's next, or still some people are going to work because they cannot afford to not work. But it's always great to reach out and touch. You'd be surprised how many people are sitting there waiting, or how many people are asking the question, what should I do next? I need to figure out, be it a side hustle, a second way to make a second income that won't take away from my time with my family. There's so many different things happening. So like I said earlier, 2 years ago, it might have been, oh, no, I'm good. Well, we can do this, we can do that. But times are changing. So you definitely want to reach out to people. Did somebody want to say something?
No, I was just saying times are changing. I love what you're talking about because it's what is the real world. And it's interesting because you're talking about also feeling and how you feel, and how important it is to monitor how you feel as you're accomplishing or moving in a direction to accomplish your goals. Because how you feel determines a lot of times if you're on track, if you're following a distraction versus the promise. You start feeling some kind of way. And everybody knows how they feel when they're in sync and on track toward the vision of their future. And I always have to pay attention to that because people are always trying to pull you to the right or the left and to follow a distraction versus staying focused on the vision, focused on the promise. And but if you don't know, what that vision is for the future, what the promise is for the future, the the end state that you're living in, even before it happens, feeling how you would feel, when it happens, being able to pat yourself on the back, shake somebody's hand, see it, as you see it's going to happen, when it does happen, and feeling how that feels. When you can actually do that, that's the work in living in the end. What is the thing what is the end state of the thing that you are trying to accomplish, that you desire, to see fulfilled? What is that end state? I was listening to something this morning and it was saying how we're all building an empire. And as the head of the empire, how do you feel as if it's already happened? He said, because, it's already happened. Can you feel that empire that you are creating now? Can you feel yourself as that leader? Can you feel yourself as that conqueror? Can you feel how it would feel walking in those shoes? Because if you can, you're on track and it's coming. It's here. You're in it. And people will see it. And the most amazing thing, and this is where I have to make sure that I stay, in tune with how I feel, because you are the architect of that future. You're the architect of that vision. You're the architect of that reality. When you begin to understand that, you're like, wow, that your imagination is the workshop for that future, to create that reality. Do you believe that? That your imagination right now, it is your world. We are in your world, you know, and if when you truly begin to understand that, we're actors in your world. You know, on this call right now, we're actors in your world. Now, you don't know that. You get pulled into many different worlds. Some people, everybody they meet, they get pulled into their world. But when you have a solid foundation and a vision and understand the end that you are pressing forward to achieve, everything comes to assist you. When the person helps themselves, everything comes to help them also. And because it's your world. And so, Brenda, being able to feel that, and everybody knows how it feels when you're on course. And everybody knows how it feels when you start swaying off course. And it's like, oh my gosh, I know something just doesn't feel right. Something's wrong. You know, how do you get back on course? You get back on a course by writing the vision, rereading the written vision, uh, visualizing that end state, visualizing the accomplishment that's already yours, and that feeling of I did it. Oh, I thank you. Attitude of gratitude attracts abundance. Using all those things, even me just saying it, there's a change in state of how people even feel. Even me just saying it. Your imagination, your mind, your body doesn't know the difference between what's true and what's imagined. It will take both as fact. And so if you can imagine that thing, I got a call this morning And this is why I really appreciate the people on this call, especially the ones who have made the travel industry a study where they know, what we have. They know what the vortex is and how the vortex can be used as a tool for fundraising for churches, organizations, revenue generating for individuals. They know what the Travmanity travel agency is, hospitality and tourism, access to an entire travel industry globally, all the suppliers, all the vendors, they know what that is. They know what the membership is, wholesale travel instead of retail travel, the concierge, being able to get the coupons, shop online, get the gift cards, all the things that are provided, access to the 7 days, weekly stay, they know what that is. They know what the vacation reward trip is. When you've been a member for 12 months, you have a 7 day vacation stay where they take care of accommodations. They know what that is. They know the bonuses and the compensation, the SBA compensation. We had 160 some people on the call yesterday as Delby Santiago, our vice president of international, was explaining the compensation. 162 people on a Zoom call. And you talk about excitement. There was a lot of excitement. Delby Santiago also talked about what's happening, in the Spanish community in America and globally, with the Spanish explosion and bringing on a couple of heavy hitters, that don't even speak English in the Spanish community. The compensation plan is going to be going, Delby will be actually covering it tonight in Spanish. There's a lot of things happening. But reason why I'm bringing this up, the people on this call who have made Surge a study and understand it, and because they understand it, it has become a knowledge, a skill set that they have uniquely, that they have, that they can offer to churches, that they can offer to businesses, that they can offer to organizations and individuals and say, this is what this is. I got a call this morning from a friend that I actually just met, and listen to what he said. He said, Rick, I want to learn more about the travel industry because I've got some churches and organizations that need to develop contingency plans for people, their members, and different things where they can travel to safe places within the United States or outside the United States, where they have access, to good rates. I'm like, what? Where, they have access to career opportunities, if they need to, make money. And I'm like, what? Where they have access to wholesale travel. And because we need to be able to know where we can send them and on a dime with the quickness. And we want to have these contingency plans. Can you imagine? We want to have these contingency plans in place, ready to go for our church, for our organization, for our community. The people on this call who have been really taking this serious, Surge 365 serious as a study, can be put in those situations to say, hey, I've got an, now, of course, everybody can because we're here to help anybody who has that kind of a connection. But there's nothing like getting it yourself and making this business a study, knowing that somebody down the road is going to be needing what you just learned, and it's powerful. Glenn and I was talking the other day, and he's got churches that are looking at this. Mariano, of course, has heavy hitters who are looking at this. You know, we know this business, and it's a skill set for such a time as now, right? And it just so I was telling the guy, I said, I'm excited. I said, we've been looking and waiting for everything to catch up to this point. We've been studying, we've been researching, understanding, waiting for everything to catch up to this point. You have the fires in California, and maybe even more fires starting in San Diego. People are evacuating. In our business, we know the vortex. Imagine if an organization said, with all these evacuations, here is a free link. Go ahead and use it. It's going to save you on your travel. They're raising the money for the recovery while going through the crisis. We know this. See, we have a tool for such a time as now that if you put the time in to study and to understand, and even more taking it one step further, to get revelation knowledge on what this really is. This has nothing to do with travel. We're solving real-time problems for real-time people. And when you understand the business, any problem that comes up, you've got a tailored solution for it. And it's exciting. I'm just excited, Brenda, about where we're at, right now. And so we'll see with this gentleman that called me today, and we're going to meet on Saturday. One of the things that Glenn and I was talking about, which is really, really interesting, when you look at Surge 365 and the fact that it is an $11.1 trillion industry. And you look at Surge 365, when Chris Cokley is looked back in history, he's going to be one of those guys Black History Month recognizes, the world recognizes, communities recognize as someone who has opened up travel and the travel industry to regular, ordinary people through Surge 365. He's going to be looked back in history as that historical figure that opened up travel, to regular people where they could own their own Expedia-like online booking engine and have access to the commissions that make Expedia billions of dollars. He opened that up to us, unlimited access. He's going to be looked upon as that person who opened up a travel agency through Travmanity so that we have skills that pay the bills in hospitality and tourism, that we have connection to all the suppliers, all the vendors globally, that we have access to all the vendor training where a person, based on what their own personal preferences, can become a wedding destination specialist. They can become a Disney specialist, a special needs travel specialist, careers that pay the bills. He's going to be looked back as the person that opened up, wholesale travel through the membership, and where a person's traveling wholesale instead of retail. He's going to be looked at the person who connected the travel vendors and their travel services to independent contractors like ourselves who are incentivized to build teams that can help the travel vendors move their product to the 9 billion people who are waiting that were locked down during COVID that now want to travel. And so we're building huge teams to move travel product, travel services such as airline tickets, right? Car rentals, cruises, passports and visas, travel guard insurance, travel insurance, all those travel services, hotels, resorts, they need help. The vendors need help. And Chris Cokley has said, I will bring in independent contractors called Surge Business Associates, and I will give them access to all the travel products and services that they can use, wholesale instead of retail, and that they can share and sell to these 9 billion people who are waiting. And I will incentivize them to build these huge teams. I'll pay them commissions, weekly commissions, unlimited $1,000 bonuses, unlimited $10,000 bonuses, the 200-day challenge, 100-day challenge, and give them an extra 25,000, extra 50 some odd thousand. And, I would give them a residual income. I would give them a 25% commission match on anybody they personally sponsored. All of this stuff. I will incentivize them to build huge teams that move travel product. I will pay for their tours if they're a leader. We've got an executive leadership program for them, 8 levels of director, and we'll buy their toys in addition to all the money that we pay them. We'll buy their toys so they don't have to spend money on their toys. And then we have an ambassador program, where they get a cut of everything that happens in the company. This is a great retirement plan. Folks, this is what we have. Chris is going to be looked back in history as that person, that opened up the travel industry to regular people like you and I. Back to you, Brenda.
Hey, now, everybody on this call, you have just witnessed the new story of Surge, and we got there yesterday. We were on for quite a while. You have to continue to bounce that vision off of the people that share that vision with you, because it sometimes it evolves. You get revelation on it, and you share this thing. That's what keeps you going, keeps you excited. You got to stay plugged in with the visionaries, and nobody else is doing this. It's our team here, and Rick he's got the new. You haven't heard this from Serge even, because it's us. And the new story about Chris and where we are it's timing, and it's awesome. I mean, it's not by chance that you are sitting here listening to this. This is a leadership call, and it's such an exciting time. So get plugged in. You connect with someone on your, don't let a week go by. We don't let too many days go by that we don't bounce off. We're constantly communicating through whatever media it is, text messages. Everybody's got other schedules going on, but we find a way to get back, get our questions answered. We come with ideas, and you come out inspired every time. And we are set to go. Rick said we're ahead of everybody else. We've always been there. It's just a matter of time before they catch up. But you know what? We are ready. We are positioned. We are able. We are trained, and it's our time. Back to you, Brenda.
Let me say this, and you're so right. The story of this is, what is your passion? What is your vision? What do you want that's bigger than yourself? That you can attach this mission to. The gentleman said, "Hey, Rick, we need to have contingency plans in place in case we need to move people real quick and get them to safe places." That's a shift. That's a shift that is here now, real time. We may need to move people out of country. We may need to move people somewhere safe. We may need to move people da 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 da. Who knows? But we need to have contingency plans. I said that wrong. We need to have contingency travel plans in place. And so he said, "Well, Rick, can you create a mission capability statement?" And he's with the government, and he does government consulting. And can you da 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 da? I said, "Well, can you identify safe places?" And I was like, "Well, I really can't do all of that. Now, what I can do is tell you what Surge can do." And you can tailor. In fact, Surge can do everything that you're envisioning. Have your people envision what they want, and I'll show them how Surge can do it, can get them there, can be used as a tool, to do whatever it is. You do that, and I'll show you how Surge. I'm the expert on Surge. I'm the expert on fundraising with the Vortex. I'm the expert on, connecting with the travel agency. I'm the expert on wholesale travel and concierge to plan things out. You know, you figure out what you want to do, and I'll show you how we apply Surge 365. What is your vision? What is your vision that you can apply Surge 365? I had a young lady on the call yesterday, Crystal Baptiste, and she's part of the First Nation from Canada. And I was talking to her afterwards, and she's going for a master's degree in something in indigenous Indian, law, something like that, that is giving her insight into some of the historic problems that, the First Nation people in Canada and in America have experienced. And, she's beginning to understand, like you're saying, Glenn, the way our Team Get, sees Surge 365, we have a lot of people who are community based, ministry based, bigger vision based, to see what the tool is. That's just our team. And that's why we're always looking ahead. And it's not just about money. And I know a lot of people in our team, Surge 365 is not just focused on the money, but it's much bigger than money, much bigger than title, much bigger than any of that stuff. And that's why we are the leaders, because we're not tied to any of it. We're tied to vision. We're tied to how can we help people apply this tool, travel, to transfer wealth, to transfer skills, to get them unstuck, right? And what is your purpose? What is your cause? Why are you doing this? If you can come up with something bigger than yourself, and so we was talking, Crystal and I, when we were talking afterwards, and we were talking about Chris Cokley, Dr. Chris Cokley, and the true opportunity that he has actually opened up to us and how he will be actually reflected in history. There is nobody else who's in position to open up the entire travel industry as he's done with his company, Surge 365. And she was saying, well, Rick, I would like to use this to help First Nation to get unstuck, to get money coming into First Nation, and in particular to the youth to influence the next generation, of First Nation. And I said, hey, this is what we do. Let's do it. And so she says, I've got some people that are also tied into the cause and wanting to see this thing happen. See, that's how you can recruit people to help you, people to join the cause. A lot of times people are not, wanting to assist and to help and to join Surge 365 because you haven't hit what they're looking for. As a leader, if you can understand the motivation of people, the motivation of people is vision. And if you can tie into, their vision, their purpose, what interests them, then you got something going on. You actually are, that qualified leader, that's being driven by vision, and your tribe will find you. Your tribe will find you when you are declaring, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, this is a vehicle that I'm using. Your tribe will go, hey, I relate with your struggle. And I'm going in your direction. I just didn't know how to get there. Then I'll tell you, you don't have to twist their arms to join a meeting, to hear a call, to hear to get on this call. This, like Glenn said, this is a leadership call. You don't have to. They get it. They get it. And so we've got something. And you said it, Glenn. Something about the timing that's happening right now. And the beauty of it is, what is your vision? You control this. This is your world. Get your composition notebook for 2025. Write down your vision of what you want to see have happen. Because I can tell you it's already done. You're just walking into it, walking out the processes by receiving inspirations of the steps that you need to take. But get that composition notebook. Write down the vision of the end state. What is the end state? Well, Rick, I'm a level A director. What's the end state? Well, Rick, we have created a stream of wealth that flows in to First Nation so that we can do this for the youth. We can do that for the youth. We can do this for the people. We have these kind of careers. And, what is the vision? What do you want? Rick, I'm free. Time, money, freedom. I've got residual income flowing in. Well, how much? I've got these bonuses. How many bonuses did you want to hit in this year? $10,000 bonuses, $1,000 bonuses. Rick, I got this residual income. And Rick, I'm able to do this in the community. I'm able to do this in my ministry. What is it that you see? If you understand that your imagination is creating your reality and what you currently see around you is already a creation of your current imagination. Okay, I need to change that, right? It's a thought. Back to you, Brenda.
Hey, Rick,
Yes, right. Go ahead.
you know, when I think about what Chris has done by purchasing the company, and especially when you consider what Coach Scott and Kim first started, way back in the day, and what their vision was, which is very similar to what Chris has, but it's interesting when you look back about when those guys started this whole thing. Chris wasn't even a player,
Right.
and so as the product, as the service, as the company, I guess I should say, evolved, and then Chris started getting involved because he knew Scott and Coach and Kim and their lineage. It's interesting how he's taken it to another level.
That's
And
good.
but I also want to make sure that we understand that had it not been for Coach Scott and Kim laying the groundwork or the groundwork, we wouldn't even have what we have today.
Oh, absolutely.
But I recognize too that what Chris has done is again exploded what it is that we already had, and to that he deserves a lot of credit. But anyway, it's just phenomenal to see where we're at now versus where we were, how we started, because I don't think any of us would could have imagined the kind of things that we have right now, even though we had dreamed about it or thought about it, but to actually have them now at our at our beck and call, so to speak, and the ability that we have to help literally anybody that wants to be helped in whatever their situation is, to be able to say that and understand it is such a godsend. And so it's I think we really need to understand how special our situation is, and certainly take advantage of it as much as we can and help as many people as we can. That's all I got.
One of the things that you're absolutely right. What has been highlighted to me as the Lord has led me to actually get involved in an organization called Black Wall Street, which is economically focused in generating and creating generational wealth, specifically African American communities. Of course, we know this is open to any and everyone, whomsoever will, but specifically in, and I'm saying African American, but it really many other communities. In the African American community, $1.8 trillion is generated, spending power. Less than 2% is returned back to the community, the African American community, meaning 98% flows away from the community, never to return. You have other communities where the dollar recirculates 21 plus days. The dollar in the African American community recirculates 6 hours and it's gone. 6 hours and it's gone. When you're looking at the opportunity of travel in the context of $900 billion African American spending in travel, none of it comes back, right? Or point something comes back. So in that context, when you're looking at an $11.1 trillion industry and the money that is spent, just in the African American community, $909 billion. But just in general, the tool, Surge 365, that we have available to us that gives us unlimited access to that industry. We represent an opportunity to garner market share, to harness and redirect money back into the community. And so it's in that context where I'm saying this, so yes, Coach, we would not even be here. Coach is our leader, a visionary leader. What specifically has happened with Chris as an African American, purchasing the company, now opening this opportunity that's always been there, representing that leader now, that African American leader now, in the context of $1.8 trillion in spending power, almost all of it going away, from the community, now having a tool that allows us to redirect it and have some of that percentage now coming back, specifically in the travel industry. That's what I'm actually referring to, and that is significant. That is huge. Why is that? Because typically you don't have tools that allow you access to the wealth of an industry. And that's why, looking back in history, Chris will be considered a pioneer, specifically, as an African American purchasing a travel company and opening it up to the world, all peoples, specifically African American community, saying, okay, let me look at this, or even the First Nation community, and all communities, of course, being able to, it's more class level than anything, ethnicity, but being able to say, here is an opportunity to create generational wealth. And so when you look at the example of Brenda and I being in this industry, the travel industry, since 2005, full time, and the wealth of this industry taking us through 2008, personally, and taking us through COVID with residual income, with commissions, with bonuses. Our testimony alone says, if a person can do it, other people can do it. If other people can do it, a community can do it. And see, that represents change. That represents opportunity, because there's a testimony there. And like we've always said, a man with a testimony beats a man with an argument all day long. And so, but those are the facts of what we have. And what I love about our team is that we are forward thinking like that. To see Chris as that visionary, of course, it began with Coach, and the torch has been handed, and the torch has been handed to us. I was telling someone the other day when we had our military transition ceremony, our military retirement ceremony for Coach back in 2019, I think it was, that we didn't expect Coach to come. Mariano, you guys did so good. Glenn, you did so good. Laura Cross, I remember we was up, out front practicing before we came into the auditorium. And we came in there marching down and marched to the stage. And of course, they didn't know what we were doing. I said, Brenda, go up on the stage. Hey, no, he's doing something special. And but we did a whole military retirement. And you guys were so professional soldier. And the different things that you was holding. I think, Madonna, you was holding the soldier, the statue of the soldier. And Laura
That's
was
right.
holding something. Huh?
That's right.
Yeah, and then Glenn was holding, I think he was holding the picture, and
Right.
and we didn't expect Coach to come up. And
No, we didn't.
Scott told me, he says, Rick, Coach came up. That was the first time we seen him square his shoulders, jut his chin out, and walk like a soldier. And he walked up on that stage.
No, he marched up.
He marched up on that stage. And we saluted him. And I know, Glenn, you had that final salute, but you know, that hug was a transition of authority, military transition of leadership that he gave me to our team. Take the torch and run with the vision, which is Coach's vision. And but how significant was that? I mean, that was. And then afterwards, Glenn, when we marched off that stage, Glenn got the final salute to seal the deal. Back to you.
Wow. Well, you know what? Where Rick said that a mantle was passed.
A mantle was passed. A mantle was passed. And you know, with that mantle was passed the vision of something that's already been done. We're just walking it out. We're looking for players, who can walk out a vision that they can that's only revealed in their spirit, that they don't even know. They're just obedient to, I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a reason, and I'm going to walk it out and find it out. Anybody who is not there is not theirs. So our responsibility is to share for those who can see. I was telling the guy today who was telling me about this transfer contingency plan. And I said, I'm invisible. You really can't see me. The fact that you can see me tells me something, there's a purpose here and something that I'm going to find out. For you to come to me, to see me, and to see Surge 365 tells me, because I'm the one that's observing, that there is something here, and we're going to pursue it. But typically, the people on this call, you're not visible in the visible realm. So the people that can actually see you, know that there's something there. You can see me. Know that there's something there, that's already been done. And now you're getting divine instructions on how to walk it out, not mess it up, not see it through your own eyes, but to pray it, to feel it. And then you'll see that, you're part of a bigger plan. Back to you, Brenda.
Wow, that was so good. Anybody else? What's going to be exciting is here we are in January 2025. What's going to be exciting is seeing December 31st and knowing how we started off the year with people realizing that you have to have this in place. You have to have this in place. So many folks got laid off last year, and definitely a lot of them are getting laid off now, and they're just trying to figure out what's the next step. What do I do? And they're just a phone call away from you, because they can start this at home in their house. You can have your own presentation with them and some of their coworkers who's looking for something. It doesn't have to, you don't have to wait till Thursday night. You reach out to somebody and they say, yeah, I have about 4 or 5 people. I'm going to invite them. When can we do one? Do a presentation. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. because there's so much going on that you don't even know right now. People's lives are changing and they're looking for something. We have the vehicle. All we got to do is share it. And people know how to find you. You know, we laugh at people when we smile when people call us. I got a call last month from someone who I haven't talked to in maybe 5, 6 years because my phone number has not changed. So I'm always here, easy to get a hold of. And she didn't even know we had moved to Charleston. She was trying to invite us to a dinner in Colorado Springs. So people can get a hold of you when they're ready, and you can get a hold of folks when you feel that you should do it. So don't delay. Go out, talk to folks. And really, you don't even have to go out. Just give somebody a call. Comment on somebody's Instagram or their Facebook. Say hi, like your photo, how things going. Make it easy for yourself and watch the response that you get back. Because you don't see everybody that you follow or that follows you for some crazy reason. I know I only see maybe 6 or 8 people, and there's over 2,000 people that follow me. And so why am I not seeing all of their posts? I have no idea. So if you see somebody's post or you go to your friends list and you see a name and you haven't seen them post in a while, just reach out and say, hey, haven't seen your post in a while. I don't know if I'm getting your post, whatever. Just be friendly. But the bottom line is just to reach out and say hi and connect with the people that you know. My neighbor's kids are outside in the backyard, slipping and sliding on the snow. They are having so much fun out there. But anyway, see, they're having fun with the snow. They're just slipping and sliding, and I could hear them laugh and giggle. And it is so fun to just even sit right here in my dining room and look out the window and see them playing on this swing. Little things like that, it makes me smile. And find out what makes you smile so you can do more of it. And you're going to feel so much better. And I remember when we were in Colorado Springs and we were talking about moving down here, that was the thing. I did not want to go, and definitely Rick did not want to go to a retirement community. So now when I see my neighbors and I see the little kids and I see the school buses, it's like, yeah, that's what I wanted. I did not want to go to a retirement community. I wanted to go where I could hear the laughter of kids playing, and they are laughing outside and having such a great time in the snow. So those small little things that you ask for, it comes to pass, those small little things. So remember, write your goals down, make it plain. If you haven't started with the compensation notebook, like Rick said, get one started. I always find them for like 98 cents at Walmart. Sometimes before school starts, even 50 cents. But what you started last year, if you didn't finish it, you can't say it does not work because you didn't finish it. So whatever you're starting this year, make sure you finish it. If you're doing your affirmations 3 times a day, make sure you're doing it every day. That's how you're going to see results, by being consistent and determined. So anybody else?
Hey, Brenda.
Well, all
So
righty.
the
Yeah.
owner of these glasses will be unleashed here, re-released and energized in a few days. So stay tuned. She's out of the witness protection program in a couple of days.
Just a couple more days. I know. Well, hold your hat. But, another thing real quick, there's an airline out there called Breeze. It's flybreeze.com. I was playing around with it today, and they have prices like Southwest, where your bags are included in the fees. And we were playing around. I saw one way from Charleston to Vegas for $69. So if you're flexible and your time is not locked in and you can leave it, go play around with that. I like to do that. Just go play around all the different places that they go. We can leave Charleston and go to White Plains, New York for $100 round trip. And that, I don't know anybody in White Plains, but we'll rent a car and go from there. So, Go ahead.
Now I was going to say, I registered us for the what is it, the anniversary on the 10th year anniversary in St. Louis, or at the home office on the 1st of March. So Brenda and I will be going to the 10th year anniversary for Surge 365. If you can make it, come on out. It's going to be fun. It's just one day. And they had a list of hotels. We were trying to see if we could find a 7-day stay somewhere near close. But I think the only 7-day stay close would be Branson, which is a couple hours away. But anyhow, but we are registered, and if you can make it out, definitely would love to see the team out there. So, but if you
Oh,
go,
Branson, that's close to Laura Cross.
yeah, it is.
Laura Cross was out there now. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so if you're able to make it out, you can register in your back office. 10-year Surge 365 anniversary. Should be pretty good. Back to you, Linda.
All righty. Yeah, and check out that Breeze airline. I was really the prices they were impressive, and they had the whole thing carry on, a bag fly free per person. If you don't want to only do one check-on bag, then you can get the other person even cheaper. So I was playing around with it, and of course for our trips in March is why I was playing around with it. But then again, next month we're going to Vegas to see my brother. So I was playing around with Breeze. It's a new air. I don't know how new it is. I just know I'm finding out about it for the first time in the last couple of weeks. So I've been playing around with it. So you can go play around with that and map out some trips and map out your birthday trip and map out what you want. Because if you're flexible with your time, and like Rick said, we have the 7-day night stay that's only a couple hours away, and then you could just stay maybe that one night, Saturday night, and then drive back. So there's always a lot to do. Just be creative on figuring out how to do and what to do. If you have family members a couple hours away, there's always ways to work it out so you can come. And what's exciting about it more than anything else, you write it all off on your taxes. You write it all off on your taxes. So, all righty. Anybody else? Well, you know what I like to say, that we are the most trusted team in Surge 365, and we are winners. And as I look at this winter snow, I have to say I'll see you guys on the slopes, but definitely on the beaches of the world. And tonight, the presentation, we'll be doing that. Check the group page. I don't remember the time now, but check your group page for the Zoom address on how to get in there. I know the passcode is success. I haven't memorized the numbers yet, but definitely jump on. It's always fun. All the people that we get on there, the more the merrier, because we want to have that exploding to 200 people every time also. So everybody have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing and talking to you guys soon. All righty, bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.